Their life is the road. They sacrifice their health and the comforts of home for this. Their year is split in two, 6 months on the road and 6 months with their family. In the eyes of others, their profession is all about the romance of travel. But they say their work is hard and dangerous. They are the masters of the highway. In Russia, they're called the kings of the road. Andrei Korolichin's journey got off to a bad start. By now, he should have been on the road for 3 hours, but Andrei is just finishing his routine check before setting off.
After loading, they warned me that the seals can only be removed by the company which receives the cargo.
The departure was delayed, but it wasn't Andrei's fault. Loading took 5 hours. It took the porters a long time to evenly distribute the 18-ton cargo. Andrei is an experienced long-haul truck driver and takes his time. He hopes to make up for the lost hours on the road.
This is a new vehicle. This is the second run. Fresh from the factory. I really like it.
Andrei got behind the wheel late in the afternoon. He calls the manager of his transport company only when he's inside the cabin, just before starting off. Making the call earlier is considered to be bad luck.
Hello. It's okay. I'm all loaded up. Yes, I'm carrying mail, express delivery. Tomorrow night. I've got to be in Krasnodar. Yes, I'm on schedule. Goodbye.
Да, все, до свидания.
This is Andrei's route from Moscow to Krasnodar, a total of 1,410 kilometers. He'll drive more than 1,100 kilometers along the M4, also known as the Don Highway, and the rest along the M29 highway. The route goes through the Moscow, Tula, Lipetsk, Voronezh, Rostov and Krasnodar regions.
In the 1990s, long-haul truck drivers called the Don Highway the Road of Death. At the time, the volume of commercial transportation across Russia had increased dramatically. Trucks driving along the M4 were robbed openly and recklessly.
These guys were wild. They used to throw drivers out and take them out into the forest. Some were killed, some were left alive. Whole trucks used to go missing, with all their cargo, and sometimes they would unload the cargo and leave the truck on the road.
According to law enforcement agencies, more than 17,000 crimes are committed on Russian federal highways every year. The bandits use a number of methods. Their main goal is to stop the truck and get inside the cabin. Some do this by pretending to be traffic wardens. Others cruise along the roads looking for broken-down vehicles. Vasily Novikov is a long-haul driver from St. Petersburg. His truck's engine died at this petrol station. He went to the highway to call for help.
Just as I came up to the road, several guys ran up to me. They pushed my head down and twisted my arms. Then they blindfolded me. I only managed to get a glimpse of the car they pushed me into.
These are the people who attacked Vasily. They were arrested in a sting operation just when they were looking for another victim on the road.
During their attacks, they used weapons to threaten the drivers and drag them out of their vehicles. Some were tied up and left in the forest. Some were held at abandoned houses. The goods were quickly loaded into other vehicles and were sold later.
The police have fully disclosed the gang's wide criminal network. It made millions of rubles or hundreds of thousands of US dollars.
As a result of a successful investigation, all these people were arrested and are now in custody. Most members of the gang will go on trial in the nearest future.
After an hour on the road, Andrei makes his first stop. He needs some fuel. There are many petrol stations along the way, but each long-haul truck driver stops at the station that they're used to. It's also a superstition of sorts.
Hello. 300 litres, please.
The cost of fuel in Russia is increasing along with world oil prices. The last 5 years have seen the price of diesel almost double. 1 litre now costs 20 rubles, that's a little under $1. Andrei pays with his card. The money comes from the transport company. The fuel limit is more than enough, 500 litres a day.
Thank you. Bye.
Andrei is a hired driver for one of Moscow's major transport companies. The truck belongs to the company. Each employee has their own duties. The managers find new customers. The traffic controllers plan the route. Andrei is only paid for delivering cargo from A to B.
We get money on a pay card. The salary is usually 45,000 rubles, or $1,900 per month. Sometimes I get more, sometimes less.
The road is empty by nightfall. Russia has joined the EU directive on road transport activities. Long-haul truck drivers are forbidden to travel at night. They should spend no more than 8 hours a day behind the wheel and rest for 20 minutes every 2 hours. There should be at least one stop-off made every 100 kilometers.
Campsites were installed. We used to park on the roadside under a peace sign. It's much more civilized now. You can take a shower at the campsite. If you don't like this cafe, there's always another one. For example, when I finish my dinner, I like to go for a smoke. And if I'm not allowed to smoke, I won't ever stop at this cafe again.
Andrei breaks the rules and speeds down the night road. He's late. His schedule says he must cover 250 kilometers during his shift.
Music helps to take your mind off the road. You wouldn't talk to yourself, would you? I mostly listen to oldies from the 1980s and 1990s.
Andrei has a good reputation among the customers. They respect him for his punctuality and speed of delivery. He's often trusted to transport high-value cargo.
It's all serious now. If you're carrying valuable cargo, it has to be insured. Also, I get a security escort.
In Russia, providing cargo security during transportation is a well-developed business. Former security and special services officers are often hired as staff.
Transport, this is Sokol calling.
Sokol, this is transport. I copy.
Please report in.
Roadworks ahead. What should I do?
Try to avoid them. If you can't avoid them, just stop. We're coming to you.
Roger.
According to police statistics, criminals dressed as road workers take part in 60% of attacks on long-haul trucks.
Bypass road, don't move. Open the door. What's inside the truck?
What's wrong?
What's valuable there?
It's empty.
Drop your weapon. Easy now. Easy.
This is a normal training operation for a private security agency. In real life on the road, if a long-haul truck driver has no escort, only speed can save them from attack.
Well, the safe speed for driving with an escort is 150 to 155 kilometers per hour. Now, at this speed, you can drive and feel you're absolutely safe.
The maximum speed Andrei can drive at is 90 kilometers per hour. He can't exceed the European standard. The speed limit is pre-programmed in the truck's computer. It measures the speed, keeps track of the time on the road, the distance covered, and the condition of the truck's main systems. The steering wheel is horizontal. On the one hand, it makes driving the large truck easy. On the other, this comfort is sometimes too relaxing.
When I feel like sleeping, I try to eat sunflower seeds or smoke more. I drink water. If nothing helps, I stop at the nearest station to avoid risking my health. Yes, you can nod off and that's it. You'll end up on the wrong side of the road.
The M4 Don highway, Tula region, 230 kilometers from Moscow. The heavy traffic on the way out of Moscow has been left behind, but because of it, the truck's average speed was only 60 kilometers during the first stage of the route.
Andrei drives off the main road. He always stays for the night at this paid parking lot.
Hello?
Hello?
Going to the parking area?
Yes.
Parking fee is 100 rubles or $3 US. Need a receipt?
No.
Andrei, just like any other experienced truck driver, never rents a room at a motel. He prefers to sleep in the cabin. He's responsible for the cargo. The parking lot is well guarded, but the long-haul truck driver's favourite saying is, you can't be too careful.
Thank God we made it to the parking lot. Most important thing for a truck driver is getting good sleep. Tomorrow's going to be a long day.
The long day starts in 4 hours. The moon is still in the sky. Andrei is already awake.
Washing. We're short on time. The early bird gets the worm.
Andrei has breakfast in the truck's large cabin. Experienced long-haul truck drivers don't change their habits easily. Andrei likes to brew coffee on his old portable gas stove. He prefers his wife's home cooking. She always makes him a packed lunch when he's on assignments.
That's the way we eat breakfast. Some get more on their plate, some get less. That's the way it goes.
Andrei is one of the first drivers to leave the parking lot and head for the highway. The long-haul truck driver is still 3 hours behind schedule, and he's in a hurry to make up the time. Long-haul truck driver Andrei Korolihkin is 49 years old. He's been all over Russia in his truck. His companion on his travels is a cuddly toy. It's a present from his eldest daughter.
This dog is 4 years old. Yes, he's like a living person to me. I'm good to him and he's good to me.
The driver has an apartment in Moscow and a small country house. Andrei's wife Irina is a traffic controller at the same transport company. Their younger daughter Anna had her second birthday not long ago.
My daughters are very impressed with the big vehicle. Because when you're driving through traffic, you only see small cars around you. We're sitting high, higher than everyone. Of course the children are fascinated.
Most long-haul truck drivers have solid families. The frequent separations only add to the joy of meeting up again. Andrei is a rare sight for his family. But he doesn't like to be out of action for long. It's the call of the road.
In some 3 days, my wife's going to say, "Stop pining, you'll be back on the road soon." It's a habit, a hobby you get paid for.
Andrei first sat behind the wheel when he was 20. He learned to handle big vehicles following strict Soviet driving rules. This is rare archive footage. It's 1979, a training ground near Moscow. Soviet long-haul truck drivers are using the first KAMAZ models. This platform truck went into production in 1976. After more than 30 years, the truck hasn't changed much. During the last decade, special KAMAZ models have won the prestigious Paris-Dakar Rally several times. But unlike professional racers, ordinary drivers now choose trucks of foreign makes. Still, 90% of all Russian long-haul truck drivers over 40 years old started their journey on the country's roads in KAMAZ trucks. Andrei's truck is racing along the Don highway, an endless expanse of land, romantic pastoral landscapes in central Russia. But long-haul drivers have no time to enjoy the view.
580 kilometers from Moscow, Voronezh region, central Russia, halfway.
There are around 600,000 highways in the country. International standards say all settlements have to be connected by hard surface roads. But in order to achieve this, Russia needs 1.5 million kilometers of new highways and motorways.
Well, there are some new roads, but most of them are worn out. They're always trying to repair them every year. We're doing fine now. See? That's it, road repairs.
During the last 5 years, the number of cars per kilometre of Russia's roads has increased from 42 to 50. This means the traffic density in Russia is higher than in the US. The roads are built to standards from 30 years ago, one lane in each direction. Because of the repairs, queuing cars gather in several places along the Don highway.
You need to build 2 lanes in one direction and 2 lanes in the other, so there's plenty of room for everyone. These roads are obsolete.
These are pictures of Russia's roads taken by long-haul drivers all across the country at different times of year. Pictures like this are collected by Valery Voйтко. He heads the Russian trade union of long-haul truck drivers and is the editor of a specialized magazine.
In Russia, and in the road transport industry in particular, the trade union often has to protect the driver from the state. The administrative pressures and corruption are very strong.
There are 2 groups of long-haul drivers in Russia. The most numerous are the hired drivers. They work for small and large transport companies. The second one is a group of private drivers. They have their own trucks and trailers. But both hired and private truck drivers need protection on the roads.
The road train hits the highway. The driver has to go through traffic wardens and weight control posts, transport inspectors. They all have one goal: to pump money out of the truck driver.
During the Soviet period, Andrei, like all long-haul truck drivers, was an employee of a state enterprise. In modern Russia, drivers have a choice, but Andrei didn't become a private driver.
A private truck driver has to pay for maintenance, tyres and repairs out of his own pocket. You're basically spending your own hard-earned cash. But when you're in a company, you know you're a driver, not a mechanic. Other services do things for you.
Andrei doesn't spend his own money on highway tolls or checkweighing. However, unlike a private driver, he has to report to the authorities.
Yes, hello? Yeah, Alexei, it's okay. I passed the weighing all right, in Voronezh. Their scales are really unpredictable. That was my boss, Alexei.
Don Highway, 860 kilometers from Moscow, Rostov region, the border between central and southern Russia.
Suddenly, Andrei turns off the highway onto a minor road. He stops the truck on a small plot of level ground.
We're stopping here. It's lunchtime. Come what may, lunch is on schedule.
This modest eatery is a cafe called At Nina's. It's the only place on the highway where Andrei will have his lunch. He doesn't like restaurants with in-your-face advertising.
We stop at places with good food, and we don't stop where the food is junk, because you can get food poisoning.
мучить. Здравствуйте.
Hello. I'd like half a plate of borscht, ribs, 2 teas, and 4 slices of bread, please.
Lunch costs 200 rubles, or $7. All of the tables are occupied. The waitresses don't have time to tend to all of the drivers. Andrei doesn't stay long. The southern sun, a hearty meal, and an even road can lull you into a false sense of security. Andrei wants to wake himself up.
It's the music of my youth. I used to listen to it at school.
Long-haul drivers often call the southern part of the Don highway a baton. They mean a traffic baton. Long-haul truck drivers are often stopped. Errors in documents, dusty number plates, cargo bulging out of their trailer, minor speed offences. Any of these are a pretext which a traffic warden may use to ask for a bribe.
We do have problems with traffic cops, but you have to talk to them really nicely. At the end of the day, in Russia, the authorities are always right. They're the state.
In Russia, long-haul truck drivers are cautious of the traffic police. The main reason for this is the tension which arises when a warden tries to get a bribe from a driver. Kirill Poрошin is self-employed.
Guys, are there any jams on the Moscow Ring Road?
Say the traffic's heavy up to Profsoyuzная Street, but it's all clear from there.
Roger. Thanks.
Kirill is well known among the long-haul truck drivers. He's recently published a story about his own experience of confronting the traffic police. During a run from Moscow to Belgorod, Kirill pulled up near a traffic police station and asked for permission to rest. What he got was a thorough inspection of his trailer.
The canvas was bulging here. At the front, some 15 centimetres, not more.
These are the photographs Kirill took at the time. His cargo was bulging, but not that much.
The warden's attitude was more than biased. They didn't say it directly, but seeing how they looked at me, I knew what they wanted. And they wanted money, that's for sure.
Kirill didn't bribe them. Instead, he called the nearest office of the long-haul truck drivers' trade union. It promised to send lawyers to the station in an hour. The wardens immediately returned the documents and retracted their claims. After this incident, Kirill fixed the trade union's nameplate onto his Kamaz. It's his protection on the road. The sun is slowly setting over the horizon. The truck is passing by the river port of Rostov-on-Don. The highway leaves the city far behind. Andrei Korolihkin has been driving for 14 hours.
The Don highway has come to an end. Andrei has turned onto the M29 highway. It's 243 kilometers from Rostov-on-Don to Krasnodar. It's the last stage of the journey.
Andrei is lucky. During his trip, he's been stopped by the traffic wardens just once.
Let's take off. We're late. Let's go.
He raced through the last few kilometers at top speed. The driver didn't stop to have dinner at a roadside cafe, nor did he take a rest. He arrived in Krasnodar at night time and easily drove the truck to its destination point across the empty city. Andrei made it on time. His trailer is to be unloaded in an hour's time.
Today we've covered 1,180 kilometers. I was behind the wheel for 17 hours. I don't know who would call that romantic. It's hard and enormous work. All of the romance is over as soon as you leave the garage. Well, we made it safely, with God's help. And as drivers say when saying goodbye, may you miss the spikes and the batons.
After returning home, Andrei took 2 days rest, and then he hit the road once again.